Me now. We're taking more calls as well, bruv. Talk to me.
Finally, Man United do the thing that we all have been saying for the last 3 weeks to do, which is just get the bid in. Just get the bid in at least, make your final bid. And then if Man United do that and it gets rejected, and we did that weeks ago and we walked away, no one would be mad. So the time that we've taken from the second bid to this bid now, that is what people are upset about more than necessarily, I think, necessarily maybe the fee or necessarily trying to negotiate, is that we've taken so long to do that, that now whatever happens, people are going to be unhappy. I'm happy with the signing. I think he's an excellent player. I think he'd be brilliant for us, bring some much needed pace, power, and efficiency to our front line, which we've been lacking for like 2 seasons. So yeah, it's just the price. Now, I said I would have wanted to get Mbeumo for max 65 million all in. So that was including add-ons as well. So the fact that we're going over it a bit, obviously I'm not happy with the price. I think we could have maybe invested it elsewhere if we're going to go that high. But we've got a player we need. So am I really going to complain about the price being 5 million over if we've got what we need? Plus, it's a player that we'd like. Plus, if in a season's time, when the season's done, he's scored 15 Premier League goals, got 10 assists, and he's one of our best players, am I going to be talking about the 70 million? No, because it would have been worth it. So yeah, the price isn't what I would wanted, but the player is someone that I really like, someone I really enjoy, and I want to know what was the reasons for the long negotiations, because if it was because we were trying to get favorable payment terms, so that maybe we're paying it across 5 years, maybe there's not a massive upfront fee, so we've got some cash left over to start investing in the summer, and then the add-on, the 5 million add-on, is something that's not really easy to do. Maybe it's a team add-on, maybe it's a trophy add-on or something. Then I can understand. I don't like it. I won't like it, but I can understand. But if it is literally just about the price, then Man United and Ineos would have been repeating the same mistakes.
Can I throw this out though? The only issue with your question, and this isn't me actually challenging it, I'm talking about general, is if it comes out, it was United got really good structure, it's really low payment terms, it's really good what they did. The only issue with that is it's just going to get called PR. The same as every time it was mentioned that 70 million was the actual asking price. Lies. Turns out they weren't lies. And I think that we need to be open-minded to that. What I will just say, some new information has just been posted. This has come out that Man United's third offer is worth what we know. It's expected to be accepted. No decision yet, but the new bid matches Brentford's demands. What Ben Jacobs has also said is that Man United consider this bid as final. So should this bid not be accepted, there is the possibility, according to Ben Jacobs, that Man United would walk away. So look, it'll be interesting to see how that actually plays out in reality, but it is what's been said, if that makes it's what's been said, it's what's been put out there. So we'll see what happens from this point. So if we're bidding what Brentford want, I don't see why it wouldn't be accepted. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Brentford is trying to mess with us one last time, personally. Maybe because it's taken so long to get to this point, they want to make us sweat a little bit. If Man United are doing the right thing right now in terms of you've got your third bid in, and that's it. If we've met your valuation, if they've been crying about the whole, we want the same fee as Cunha guaranteed and a little bit more, well, we're giving you 2.5 more guaranteed. So you got that. We want closer to the 70 million. We want to make it look like we've won the transfer window. We're getting a bigger fee than Cunha. We've done that. You got a 70 million total package. If they've been crying about that all summer and then say no to this, then I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. Man United, leave.
Well, this is also
that door.
This is also it, right? And I think this is what's really, really important to, I think, put out there. If, for instance, we put this bid in now and this bid was considered to be If this bid was considered to be final by us, but what they want, and then they try and up the price again, that would also explain why it's taken 7 weeks. So again, then I can understand the negotiations and why United are frustrated. My only real frustration then would be should have walked away sooner. If they kept on saying, because then we go into a new realm. Oh, maybe the reports were right. They did only want 50 to 60 million. United offered it. Now we want more. Okay, we've upped it again. Now we want more. Okay, we've upped it. There comes a point where you've got to stop increasing your bid again as you lose credibility in the window. So let's see what by and large, let's see what happens with that moving forward. This year says, keep in mind, people, bids don't typically get accepted outright. If it's close to what Brentford wants, they will discuss the finer details. That is true, Mish, but what I would say is this again, and I don't want to try and make this sound even more negative than some people are making it. If, for instance, though, we've been spending this amount of time negotiating and everything else, the bid should already include add-ons and structures in the way in which that they want. I would like to see accepted medical player through the door in the space of 48 hours with how much time we've spent. When a deal goes quickly, comes out of nowhere, you expect from the bid being accepted or principally accepted to the here we go or to the club announcement to maybe take a few weeks because you might have to iron out those details. If we've spent 7 weeks negotiating this and we haven't yet ironed out the details, fuck me. That's worse than taking 7 weeks to negotiate it.
No, on 100%. If it turns out that we have to go through another round of finding out the finer sorting out the finer details, I might go bold. At 29.
If you go bald and grow a little bit of a beard, you could just pretend to be in Mbeumo.
Yes,
you could, bruv.
I'll just go down the pitch.
You actually play quite a lot like him. You're very similar stylistically at football as well, bruv. So
why is he so fat? It's just he's playing Cameroon, bruv, eating fufu.
I
hear right. Let's take some calls. Baz is joining us first. What are you saying, Baz?
Hey guys, yeah. I mean, I'm let's just see it get done first. But yeah, man, I think that it's a tough one. I want to see the terms of how all this turned out a little bit more that comes out from journalists to see what the details are. But I have to agree with Mark Goldbridge on this, man. Like if they planned this window the way they said they did, this would have turned. I don't believe we spend 7 to 8 weeks on this deal. Like, if I was planning this window out, I would have tried to get the Mbeumo deal done first, then get the Cunha deal done because it's a release clause. Why would you set the precedent and let other deals get done in the window to get to kind of give Brentford that that reassurance that they are right and asking for more money? If I'm trying to buy a house in a market that's really crazy, you don't want time because time makes your deal worse, right? As if someone's buying a house next down the street and they spend $20,000 more than you, then and you haven't sealed the deal up, they're going to ask for more money, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, like I do question the way the claim that we've been planning this window out because I don't think they have, man. I think that if they planned this window out the way say they would have, they say the way they said they would have had a lot of these pre-negotiations done in the spring, and they would have figured things out a bit better.
I think I get where you're coming from, but I think that would hold more. That would be more of a point in terms of like it being true if Mbeumo and Cunha was always the number ones. I think what that happens is when Omar Barada came out and said, we've planned for the window, we know what we want to do, we're going to execute. In his mind, it was, we're going to get Cunha, we're going to get Delap, and then we're going to get sales done quicker than we thought they have had so far, and then we're going to go and sign some extra players. That went out the window completely as soon as Delap rejected us. That went out the window. They changed targets. The players ain't going to be getting sold. So I don't think taking Barada's quote like that is the right way to look at it. I look at it more like this: you've been planning for the window. Your first plan's gone is gone awry. It doesn't work. I'm now upset that your second plan hasn't been thought out enough clearly. They've clearly done it at like a snap of the fingers. All right, we're going to do quick. Let's just change the direction. And they haven't really fully decided how to go about it. That's what it looks like.
And you know where the imbalance is, KJ?
Yeah.
And this is where Dan Ashworth would have been helpful, is that Dan Ashworth has the experience. I'm not saying he should have stayed or anything, but I think Jason Wilcox was still an understudy in that sense. Like, he knows how to identify talent, but planning a window out is not something he would do, right? Someone like Dan Ashworth knows the ins and outs of the market very well. And I don't know if we have someone like that at the club right now.
Yeah, it's a really fair point. And this is the thing with the transfer window. I remember last week, by the way, we're live at 7 p.m. for the Top 6 show, back with the We Are Tottenham TV boys, everybody. We did that show last week, and on the way to the show, the Tottenham boy, the day before we were planning the show, the Tottenham boys are fuming, they'd done no business. By the end of that show, they had 2 here we goes. Suddenly, they were like, Levy's a god, give him a statue. Things can change very quickly, which is why I typically don't make overarching statements. And let's wait and see for a few more weeks. We could be angrier. We could be sitting here in a couple of weeks with a new goalkeeper, a new midfielder, and going, actually, this summer's turning out quite nicely. Plus, we haven't seen how we look in preseason. If we're actually moving the ball quite well and playing well, everyone will calm down a little bit. That being said, we've got to get a wiggle on. Baz, thanks for calling in, mate. Appreciate it loads, mate. Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers, brother. Thank you. Aidan is on with us now. What are you saying, Aidan?
Yeah, can you not hear me? Good.
Perfect, brother.
All right. Yeah, I was on earlier talking about Mbeumo deal coming through, and obviously it's happened. But a lot of people I've seen already on social media, there's been outlets saying 80 million euros, using the euros thing as a putting us like we're paying over top. We're Man United. We're going to be seen as doing that. But as long as we know it's a 65 million set fee, I heard Ben Jacobs say on the United stand saying that 5 million apparently the add-ons is unrealistic or whatever, possibly. We'll have to find out what happens with the 5 million add-ons. But I think overall, 7 weeks doing this deal, like you said earlier on, Terry, I don't think the time part is good. But I'm just happy it's over the line and we can move on forward in the window.
You make a great point there. What I will say about the price, even though I hold it important, not because of the connection to the player, but because of my own personal valuation, I look at the money we don't have, actually, and making sure we don't burn through cash. I hate this notion of it's not my money, I don't care. I think it's the most redundant opinion football fans can have in terms of transfers. If he comes in and scores and delivers, his price tag will never be discussed again. Bruno at 57 million has never been discussed again, as an example. Van Dijk at 75 million never got touched on again. If a player delivers, the price tag is irrelevant. In fact, if he comes in and does really well for us, because he will be on the preseason tour if this bid is accepted, and more sources are now saying it's expected to be, if he has a really good start to the season for us, even though I want negotiations to be quicker, everybody will forget it took 7 weeks to bring him in. The most important part is he the right player? And I don't think we should get pulled away. And as United fans, you're right. We will be lied to by the media about the costs. That all the, there'll be a report later that's going to say he's on that 900 grand a week. All of that is to come. You all know that is about to come on this deal. But how happy are you with the player, Aidan? I know it isn't fully gone through yet, but are you still excited about the prospect of him being a Man United player?
Yeah, as you saw what he did at Brentford, in superior team to United last season, but overall I wouldn't say a superior team with like the pressure and stuff. We'll have to see how he does at United under the pressure, and how, because we're on a low from last season, the expectations will be probably lower from what it would normally be at United. But Mbeumo, 20 goals in the league last season, which will very much help us, because I don't even know how our top scorer was last season. I think Bruno on like 10 or something. So
yeah, something like that.
20 goals coming into that front line, and just the creativity where we don't have to rely as much on Bruno, Ahmad getting us through games. We'll have Cunha and Mbeumo who can bring up the creativity spark. But yeah, I think Mbeumo will be a great player for United.
I hear you on that. Aidan, mate, thanks for calling in, bro. I appreciate it a lot.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers. Thank you. Kane.